We've had a good pre-season. It's been 6 weeks or so since we've been back in, and yeah, like you said, we've had a few friendlies, which have been decent, and the squad seems to be gelling together. Obviously, quite a few new signings that have arrived. So yeah, everyone seems to be in a good place physically, and obviously with Gaz coming in with a new system, that's been quite a focus, tactically going through pre-season. So yeah, we're all excited, and it's great just to kick off with such a competitive game.
And not just a few new signings, you've got a couple of World Cup winners in the group. I know obviously Sam's been with you a little while now. How has that been for you in terms of playing with players of such an elite quality?
Yeah, it's great. I think to have players of that calibre come in, it's only a positive thing. And the experience that they're going to bring in, having won a World Cup last year and just be so successful. I think as players on the pitch, it's hugely important. It's going to drive us on to the next level. But also as people, that their strong mindset and their winning mentality, it's what we need to kind of reach where we want to go. So yeah, to have players like that in and around the change rooms on the pitch, it's only a good thing for the squad.
How have they settled in? Have they been surprised by anything since they've arrived?
Well, I've not seen loads of Sam's just been in the last few sessions. So she's just getting used to it all and used to the weather, which is obviously not great. But yeah, no, she's enjoying it. And Chloe Kelly's obviously been in since the beginning, and she's a great young player to have around. She's really talented and gives us like another attacking option. So it's been great, and I think it'll be great getting to know them even more as the season begins. We've always had such good backing from people at the club, and it's always, as a player, it's always felt that the women's team is a huge priority, and it's been great. And I think just with the investment this pre-season and where we want to go, it just highlights that again, and the commitment to the women's team and how important to the club it is. So as a player playing in that team, it's great. It means you can be in the best environment and test yourself, and it's competitive, and that's what you want to be in as a player. So yeah, it does highlight that again. I think year on year the club have kind of upped their investment and kind of always looking to move to the next level, and there's no doubt that that's happened this off season. I think I say this all the time, year on year, it's a bit of a cliche, but it does get more competitive. But I think there's no doubt, just with the talent that's coming in, not only to our team but across the board, not even the top three teams, if you like, Arsenal, Chelsea and City, it's other teams. There's more players spread across all the teams. So hopefully that makes it competitive and people want to watch it and see what happens. And yeah, it's only a good thing for the league, and it's exciting to be part of it. It's great for the game. I think unfortunately women's sport, not even just women's football, women's sport hasn't really been on our TV screens during lockdown. We watched the men come back and things. So I think to have an occasion like this to kick things off, it's a huge thing, and it's great that FA have decided to do this. And I think it's what the game needs. It needs kind of a big occasion to get people talking about it, get people watching women's football again. And as a player, obviously, it's hugely exciting to kick off the season at Wembley.
I think it's a really good celebration of hosting the game on the same day as the men's, and it's the first time in a number of years that this has happened. So I think it's great. It really raises the profile of the game, and it's a great game to have at Wembley. Unfortunately, there's no supporters actually in the stadium, but I think it's great in terms of maximising the profile of the women's game.
And on this issue of women's football not being back since lockdown, when the men's game has, how important is this game on the weekend in regards to that? And do you think this is going to change? Do you think this is going to lead to people taking it more seriously again?
Well, we would hope so. I think it's a good step forward, and like I say, I think if we can get more exposure, particularly on television. And bridging that gap a little bit closer to the men's game in that respect, in terms of that much exposure on TV, then I think it's a really good thing, and it's only going to help. Heard kind of rumours around potential sections of supporters maybe being included, where it could be a safe distance. I'm not sure. There's been plenty of speculation, but for us, I think as a club, I really do feel the kind of support from our fans, even though at the moment we can't share the moment of them being with us in our games that we've had so far. in training matches, and we'd love to be at Wembley. We'd love our fans to be there with us. Unfortunately, the situation dictates that can't happen, but hopefully not in the too distant future. We'll be able to share that moment again with them, and once everything is safe to do so, we're really looking forward to that time.
And how important is it for the future of WSL clubs that fans are able to come back in on a financial footing as much as anything else?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it means a lot, but also I think for the players and the coaching staff, we really want the supporters with us. We want to go into these games, whether it be home where you've got your home support, or away games where the fans are right on top of you. I think it makes all the difference, and I think many people have said it previous to me, and I completely agree that football is nothing without the fans.
And just one final one, if I may. Just looking at the wider picture, obviously there's been a huge investment, hasn't there, in terms of the women's team this summer. You've benefited. You've got a couple of World Cup winners in the squad now. And there seems to be a real commitment, again, from Manchester City to put the women's team right at the centre of what it's all about. Is that something you felt, and how encouraged are you by what you've experienced since you've been in the job?
Yeah, really encouraged by what I've seen so far. I mean, you're correct in terms of a bit of a surge in this summer in terms of recruitment, but we want to try and compete on all fronts, and I think to do that we need to have a really strong squad. And as Caroline said previously, that's going to be in competition for places, which is what we want. Because if we feel that 11 players are going to be enough for us throughout the season, it's impossible. So I think to certainly look at challenging on all fronts, particularly when you have 2 FA Cup competitions in one season. It's going to be kind of all hands to the pump, and we're kind of comfortable where we are in the couple that we've recruited so far, and we'll always be looking over the next 6 months, a year, further down the line, looking at our succession planning and what it looks like for our squad.
Superb. Enjoy the weekend. Thanks, Gareth.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. Chris from That's Manchester.
Yeah, I'll start with Gareth. First of all, how pleased are you with the way that your squad has conducted themselves during this layoff?
Yeah, well, I'm really proud. I mean, it was I probably took on the role halfway through the kind of lockdown, so just immediately started to look at interactions with the players. Which was difficult, really, because the players had still been training up until that point, thinking that the season was going to be finished. And just around when I took the job, they were given a bit of downtime. So it was difficult because I wanted to interact more than I was probably able to. But I was also conscious that they needed to have a bit of respite from a grueling kind of season and training remotely. So, yeah, really proud of the players in the way they handled themselves. And it wasn't an easy period for anyone, and the way they've come back and applied themselves to some kind of new methods has been really encouraging to see.
It's felt like a long few months, definitely. I think, training at the start of lockdown, hoping to get back to finish the season, obviously not, was quite tricky and quite difficult. And then obviously seeing the guys come back, I think that's probably the moment where I especially was just, itching to get back and start playing again. But it's all done now, and we've had a good pre-season, and we just kind of got to put that to one side and focus on the season ahead, which it's exciting. And like we've been talking about, we've got a new squad and things, so yeah, we've got a lot of objectives to kind of work for, and so that's kind of what we're thinking about now.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, it was difficult, but I was obviously riding high on the crest of a wave of good feeling. I really wanted this job. I was really keen on it. I've seen how, being fortunate being in the academy at City and seeing the interaction on a daily basis of staff and players, and literally was coaching alongside the women's team for the last 3 years. So always taken a real interest in it and had a really good relationship with Nick and Alan. So from that respect, it was kind of difficult. It was more so a kind of difficulty in not being able to get back out on the pitches straight away with the players. So we had to do it remotely. Again, I think it brought creativity, is what I will say, and especially the first couple of weeks back in training, we had to do small groups. and it kind of got your thinking cap on quite a bit. But I enjoyed that process. I really enjoyed that period, and like I said, I'm really pleased where we're at. The way the girls are working. So we're really looking forward to the start of the season.
It's about just getting back on track and hopefully, you know, if safe to do so, invite fans back in to see us. And such a huge part, I think, to have, you know, female role models out there for people to see, and whether that's on TV or live, I think it's huge. So yeah, hopefully when the time's right, fans will be able to come back in and see us.
Yeah, I think it's great. We have to take our hat off to the FA for looking at producing these kind of two big games back to back, particularly as they're being, like we've spoken, unable to kind of have supporters there. I think it's great that they're being televised. So yeah, I've already seen kind of a bit of a shift in that kind of trying to broadcast the women's game a little bit more. And again, like I've said previously, I can only see that improving and you know, kind of raising more awareness, raising more interest, because the support is there for us.